Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I would like to start the ceremony off with a prayer, so please join me. Lord, we thank you for getting us through this year. We thank you for the bond we have forged as we say goodbye to this program and each other. We thank you for the tears and laughs we have shared. We thank you for being there for us when we struggled at different times, and that you gave us shoulders to lean on and hands to lift us up. Lord, as we go forward, I pray you give us the wisdom to make wise decisions as we seek job opportunities, and that will you guide us through the challenges we will face as we use our newly learned skills and adjust to the new world of coping in the working world. Amen.
Good evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of recognizing some special guests who have joined us here for the 2020 DMS and Echo pinning ceremony. As I call your name, will you please stand and remain standing until all names are called? First, we would like to recognize Lori Durden, the president of Ogeechee Technical College, Dr. Ryan Foley, Executive Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs, and Jennifer Witherington, Ogeechee Technical College Dean. Let's give them a round of applause. This next group of guests played a huge role in our clinical experience. They helped us understand, get accustomed to, and think like a sonographer in the real clinical setting. If you're one of our clinical preceptors here with us tonight, please stand. This next group of guests celebrated with us during our highs and wiped our tears during our lows. They had to sit back burner while we studied for hours on end and also helped us financially if we ever needed it. We couldn't have made it where we are today without your constant support. If you are family or friends who have joined us tonight, please stand. This last group of ladies has molded and sculpted us into the sonographers we are today as we set out on our own. They've listened to our struggles through clinicals. They've given us encouraging words time after time and have believed in us at times when we didn't believe in ourselves. Miss Capri Mitchell, Miss Susan Townsend, and Miss Tina Welch, could you all please stand? Thank you all for standing by us during our journey.
Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you could join us tonight. This is the DMS and Echo pinning ceremony of 2020. 2020, as everyone knows, has really been an unusual challenge for all of us, students as well as everyone in the world. But the students and the instructors, we've kept ourselves going, and we've reached the goal tonight with our new normal during this pandemic. Back in April, we didn't know when we would be going back to our clinical setting or get back into our labs to allow the students to practice, to get that hands-on learning that they need so desperately, and to get the required competencies that they needed for graduation. But we persevered, and everyone has met that goal, so we're on the downhill stretch now. I'd like to wish the ladies tonight much success and happiness in the profession that you've chosen, This group of ladies, I don't think I'll ever forget. I was telling them earlier that I have trouble remembering what year each student graduated in. Miss Townsend and Miss Mitchell, they can remember them all the time. They all kind of run together because I've had about 20 of them. But I don't think I'm going to forget 2020 class at all. They've been leaving such an impression on me. So the time to recognize these students is tonight for their hard work, their long nights, busy days, intense studying sessions, in addition to all of the issues that we faced with this ongoing pandemic. I'm sure all the students' families will tell you here tonight that they're happy to see that the students have made it here. They're just as happy as the students to be finishing. I know everybody is ready for that phase to be over with. I've always heard that it does take a village to raise a child, and it definitely takes a village to become a sonographer. It takes a lot of pulling together of all the family units. These ladies, I don't really think of them as students necessarily. We're more like a family, and I really think of them as my DMS babies, okay? I have 3 daughters, but with each group, I gain more daughters. Not many sons, but more daughters. So ladies, remember to pass along to the new students coming in and that are going to follow in your footsteps. They're going through the same things that you've gone through. So give them the mercy and grace that you were given, okay? But just remember each of those things when they come to play and they come to ask questions and they're eager to learn. It may be next week, next year. And I'm so happy to see all of you soar and reach your goals. It's a pleasure to help you grow as a sonographer these last 16 months. And we want to recognize tonight as the passing of a student sonographer and echocardiographer to a sonographer and cardiac professional. Miss Townsend, Miss Mitchell, and myself, we're very happy to share our profession with you, and we're really proud to call you our peer. So welcome, class of 2020.
Our fellow classmate, Michaela Williams, volunteered to do our class speech. So now, please help me welcome Michaela Williams.
First and foremost, allow me to be one of the many voices to salute us, the Ogeechee Technical College Diagnostic Medical Sonography and Echocardiography class of 2020 for all of our amazing academic achievements. We are an amazing group of trailblazing and dedicated medical professionals ready to apply our acquired knowledge to enhance and advance this new world we live in. The world we assumed would welcome graduates with open arms has changed in ways we could have never imagined or adequately prepared for. Many of us are understandably frustrated due to significant changes in ceremonies, celebrations, and annual traditions. Others are suffering immensely from the loss of loved ones, financial instability, and the uncertainty of the future in these times. The sudden switch to remote learning in the middle of our programs has created a new reality we all must continue to adjust to. I'm not a person who believes in superstitions, but I am one who truly believes the universe gives you no more than you can handle, along with warnings of what is to come. The first sign this class would be unlike any other came the first day of our program, way back in what seems like a lifetime ago, on August 12th, 2019. For those who were not in our lab class that day, let me paint you a picture. It's the very first day of school, and Ms. Welch had instructed us to go into the lab. After explaining that we were going to hit the ground running by learning how to scan the aorta that day, she released us to go wash our hands. Now, there's a lab sink above which there is a window looking into Ms. Mitchell's office. Right there, Ms. Townsend was standing there having a conversation with her. We were all a bundle of nerves and excitement as some of us went into the bathroom, the laundry room, or to that sink to wash our hands. I was the first to reach the lab sink and turned on the water. Now, you might be wondering what might be so ominous about washing your hands. Well, I reached forward and turned on the water, and there was a loud pop as the faucet shot into the air and landed in the sink. Water went everywhere. I was in shock, and all I could do was stare at Miss Townsend's look of horror directly across from me. Once my brain regained the ability to function, I turned off the water. There was a collective silence in the room as I turned dripping wet to look at Miss Welch before we all burst into laughter. It was a much-needed break in the tension of the first day, but little did we know it would be an antecedent to the chaos of what was to come. Our next sign came at the end of first semester. Normally, each program takes 10 students a year with a total of 20 graduates. However, by the end of 2019, the programs had a combined total of 13 students. Some cultures view the number 13 as a blessing, but the majority of the world does view it as an omen. This should have caused us all to pause a moment and question if we really wanted to do this, but you'll come to find with this group of women, we pressed on, determined to pursue our passion for healthcare. The second semester, our programs continued to get harder. We had many days out at clinic, more pathology to learn, and a registry to take. Our pressure seemed to build as we had to balance studying for multiple classes, passing the registry, and completing our exam modules on a very, very expensive simulator. That is, until someone broke it. And I will give you all one guess as to who broke the simulator. Yeah. So needless to say, I think you can all surmise that Miss Welch is going to be happy when we graduate and her lab will be safe from my utter destruction. It would only be a week later when we got the notice we had all been dreading. It was the dawn of the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. This time, there had been whispers of infection spreading across the Asian countries one we had hoped would not make its way to the US. Unfortunately, COVID would rock America to her core, causing a widespread nation shutdown. With the shutdown, we were withdrawn from our clinic sites and left into limbo as to when, if ever, we would be allowed to work with real patients again. Our classes were hastily transitioned to online coursework, and we all had to learn to adapt to teaching and learning in circumstances these programs had never faced before. It was a challenge that took teamwork and cooperation with a little bit of grace from both students and our professors. But together we made it work, and soon with the start of summer, we were back on campus, making up for lost time. Miss Welch, Miss Townsend, and Miss Mitchell worked tirelessly to get us back out to clinic. One thing every woman through this program will tell you is nothing compares to practicing on real patients. We are very fortunate that our instructors understood this and did everything they could to get us back out there. By our final semester of fall 2020, things finally got back to some academic semblance of normalcy. Amidst this global change, it is very important to pause as we acknowledge our resilience, intellect, and grit. We have met all the academic requirements of our programs, passed our registries, and were forced to immediately learn the larger-than-life lessons of nothing is promised and the uncertainty of tomorrow. Our adjustment and preparation for the future is going to require some practical skills that exist beyond face-to-face and virtual classroom instruction. Skills that our professors and preceptors made sure they were instilled in us much more than any of the classes before us. I stand here today able to speak as a representative of the class of 2020 as a product of the dedication to excellence from the Ogeechee Technical College and staff who willingly teach the next generation of students. Without professors and preceptors who believed in us when we were unable to believe in ourselves, we could not have survived the curveballs 2020 has thrown our way. I know I speak for all 13 of us when I extend my gratitude and thanks to Ms. Welch, Ms. Mitchell, and Ms. Townsend, our preceptors, our families, our friends, and our loved ones. This program is not easy, and so much of the past year has been spent stressing out, crying, and contemplating whether or not we could do this. You all have stood by our sides, ready to be a shoulder to cry on, a firm yet gentle hand to push us when we were stressing out and wondering if we could do this, and a listening ear on those days we needed to vent. None of us would have made it to this point without each and every one of you standing behind us and pushing us to succeed. In closing, we have all proven our incredible abilities over the course of our studies, and I honestly could not imagine going through this program in the middle of a global pandemic with a different group of women. These women crossing the stage today are some of the smartest, most adaptive, determined, tenacious, and patient care-focused women I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. All of our studying, researching, scanning, test-taking, presenting, and clinical engagement has finally paid off. We are an unstoppable force and will continue to succeed. Don't worry about getting ready, because we are already ready for what the world has to offer us. Life is a journey, not a destination, which requires continuous growth and elevation. Remember, as we move forward to accomplish what you never have, you must do something you have never done. I would like to end with a quote from one of my favorite band members of BTS. "This might not be the grand finale you had imagined, and a fresh start might seem far away, But I wish to tell you, please don't be afraid and don't worry yourself. The end, the beginning, and the end are all connected. One small person can dream the biggest dream, paint the largest picture, and make endless possibilities come true. Take your hands off what you can't control and get your hands on what you can change. The only thing we can control is ourselves. Get your hands on the changes you can make because the possibilities are limitless. Congratulations to the Ogeechee Technical College Diagnostic Medical Sonography and Echocardiography class of 2020. I'm excited to witness to how we all continue to change the world around us and continue to persevere through whatever the universe has to throw at us to give these patients the life-saving care that they need. Thank you.
Good evening. Angeline Trevina said, "Some people see a wall and assume that's the end of their journey. Others see it and decide it's just the beginning." This class, the class of 2020, has faced so many opportunities to end their journey. Yet, for each obstacle they faced, they saw a new beginning. This is what makes me so proud of this group of girls. Time and time again, obstacles grew to make the already arduous road that they were traveling even more difficult. There were times where they had no idea what troubles would come tomorrow, what troubles would come the next week or the next month or the next minute. Things changed so dramatically. But these 5 girls would take each setback and yield not to failure or self-pity, but they would use each setback as a time to learn and grow. This is what has made me so proud of this class and this wonderful group of young ladies. Through hurricanes, a global pandemic, quarantines, they discovered their own language. They discovered how to communicate with each other. They learned to trust each other enough to confide in each other, their fears and their doubts. They learned to support each other and encourage each other. They learned that even the darkest storm, there will always be a rainbow. For the Echo class of 2020, they looked for the rainbow over the wall. This was not the end of their journey. This is the beginning. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present to you the Echo class of 2020, who will make the remarks together.
Hello. Thank you everyone for coming out and supporting me and my classmates. It's been a long journey and we wouldn't be here without the support of each and every one of you and our friends and family. My time in this program has definitely been an experience I will cherish forever. From the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, these 4 ladies and Miss Mitchell have always been there. I know I had always wanted to have a career in healthcare, but never quite sure what. I started at Georgia Southern, changed my major a couple times, and came across sonography. I knew I didn't want to be at a big school anymore, so I transferred to OTC. It just so happened that Miss Mitchell put me on the right track. I can remember stressing over taking the PSB to even get into the program, and boy, did I not know what was coming. I cannot thank my family, Miss Mitchell, and these ladies enough for always supporting and encouraging me. It is so crazy to think how far we have all come, and we have overcome so many obstacles. We have adapted and we conquered.
I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to all my friends and family in attendance. I know some of y'all drove really far to be here for me, so thank you. But also a huge thank you to Miss Mitchell and the ladies of Maroon 5 for being my biggest support system during this program. I would not be where I am today without their continuous support. And throughout this program, I was forced to grow and evolve at such a fast pace that sometimes I forgot to stop and enjoy the process. And these girls were always down to decompress with a strawberry daiquiri or sing our hearts out with the Disney sing-along to make everything better. As I grew in this program, so did my confidence in my work and my day-to-day life. And now I can now say that I feel competent and ready to catch whatever life throws my way.
In Romans 5:3, we are told to rejoice when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. This crazy journey we've been on this past year has finally led us to where we are tonight. It has pushed me like I've never been pushed before and has made me dig so much deeper. It's made me believe in myself and have confidence in what I know and helped me not fear the unknown. Over this past year, I can say that I have grown so much as a person, I have learned so much, and I have made some amazing friendships that I will cherish forever. Without my instructor, my classmates, my supportive family and friends, and my preceptors, I would not be standing here today celebrating this accomplishment, and I can't say thank you enough to all of you.
I remember when I first signed up for this program, I found Miss Mitchell in the hallway to give her my letter of interest. At first, she did not want to take my paper. She just kept repeatedly asking, "Are you sure? Are you absolutely positive this is what you want to do?" I basically had to beg her to take my paper because at the time, I thought this was something I wanted to do. First semester in this program was definitely what I thought the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, but then 2020 happened. We all tried to start on a high note, promising ourselves it was going to be better than first semester. I feel like everything came like a train wreck after that. COVID, not being able to go to school, loss of multiple family members while still trying to study for registries, contracting COVID myself, and somehow through all of this, managing to come out on top. I can honestly say that without the help of my classmates, Miss Mitchell, my friends, and family through this program, I don't know if I would be here. At one point, I felt like giving up, but Miss Mitchell and my mom always told me giving up is not an option. Throughout this program, I have learned not only who I am and how smart I am when I put my all into something, but I have learned how strong I am. I have learned not to doubt myself when I feel like I cannot go on anymore. This program tested me in every single way possible, but now I can honestly say that I don't just think this is something that I want to do, but I know it's what I was meant to do. I know that my papa would be so proud of me. Thank you, Miss Mitchell, for believing in me and pushing me to be the best person I can be.
If I was forced to describe my experience over the course of this program, in one word, it would be humbling. At the point in my life when I decided to return to school, I had already experienced so many things. I thought I knew what life was about. I had all of the things that you would think would be at the end of the pursuit of happiness, and yet I always felt that something was missing. You see, if you asked my family to describe me, they would tell you with all of the love in their hearts that I am the overly sensitive one, the bleeding heart. It took me most of my life to realize that these were not character flaws. These were the things that called me into a life of service. The humbling experience of learning to follow those traits instead of fighting against them is what led me to this moment in time on this stage, telling you all just why I am here. You can call it destiny or fate, but I prefer to call it divine intervention. God knew when he made me that there was nothing on this earth that would satisfy me more than to simply put help others. I'm humbled by the opportunity to be the eyes of a cardiologist, the ears for a lonely patient, and the mouth that brings comforting words to patients and their families. I'm humbled by the amount of help that I have received to get here, from my parents who have supported me emotionally and financially through this process, and who raised me to strive for greatness. For my partner's parents who stepped up to be there for my son in all of the hours that I could not be. From my partner who held my hand and encouraged me through it all. I am humbled by the demands of my instructor, Ms. Mitchell, who I realize now knew that I needed to be pushed to my limits to reach my full potential because my patients deserve nothing less than my very best. I am humbled by the obstacles that I was forced to overcome to get to this place in my life. But mostly, I'm humbled by a loving God who knew exactly what doors to close at exactly what time to help me reach this milestone. You cannot know your true strengths until it is tested. I know who I am now, and for the first time in my life, I love who I am. And I know that I am exactly where I am meant to be. This storm is over. It won't be the last. But I'm confident and content in knowing that whatever is next, I will grow in that season too. After all, it cannot get worse than wildfires, murder hornets, locust swarms, UFOs, and a worldwide pandemic. But just in case it is, bring an umbrella, hold fast to the things that you love, and wait patiently for your rainbow.
All right, we'll move forward with presentation of pins, and we'll be pinning DMS first. And I just want to say, both of these classes had 1,001 different reasons to complain, and I never once heard a complaint when we sent them home and told them not to come back. And I just hope that classes moving forward are as graceful and just show a certain gratitude that I've learned from these ladies that I don't know that I'll ever see again, but I really hope so. Kiana Andrews. I never get hugs. Abby Brinson. Morgan Harper. Kelly Harris. Rebecca Rigdon. Sarah Salter. Amanda Williams. Congratulations. Michaela Williams.
We'd like to present the DMS 2020 class. If you'll give them an applause. You did it.
Presentation of pins for echocardiography. Ariana Beck. Josie Denny. Katie Gay. Taylor Nowling.
Ladies and gentlemen, echocardiography class of 2020, the Maroon 5.
So now we're gonna show you guys the echo presentation. This is basically a wrap up of our time in the program, and I hope you enjoy it. Oh, and DMS is coming up next. Kelly, you're gonna come up after me, right? Okay.
And now, a special presentation for the DMS class of 2020.
If you will, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here to celebrate and to reflect upon all the opportunities granted to us. May we continuously be mindful of our service to our community as we advance to our careers so that we might be a reflection of you. We ask for continued determination to face new challenges, and we are thankful for the challenges we've been blessed to overcome. Bless those that have supported us through this program and the fellowship we share to celebrate today. Amen.